Welcome to NBA Fandom. This is an independent NBA podcast which was created by fans for fans. This show is hosted by L.A. Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the NBA at all times and other sports-related topics. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. Be part of it.
Hey listeners, this is episode 3 of our spin-off podcast known as NBA Fandom. I'm your host, L.A. Blackwell. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Glad to be joined by my co-host, Danny D. How are you, Danny D?
I'm good, L.A. What's going on with you, man?
I'm well. How about you, Flo, my other co-host? How you been doing?
LA, I'm very good today, man. How you doing today?
I'm all right, fellas. Episode 3, man. Got a lot to talk about regarding NBA and its ups and downs. And we're going into our first segment known as NBA Tip-Off. And for our first topic on NBA Tip-Off, Eric Bledsoe was finally traded by the Suns. He was subsequently traded to the Milwaukee Bucks for Greg Monroe, a protected 2018 first-round draft pick, and a protected 2018 second-round draft pick. What are your overall thought, guys, starting with you, Danny D?
Oh, it was a great trade for Milwaukee. I saw Eric Bledsoe when he played the Spurs, man. Eric Bledsoe stayed in shape and he can play, and that's what Milwaukee needed. They needed another playmaker who's not a ball handler, who is not scared to take a shot in big moments in the fourth quarter, has step back jump shot. Eric Bledsoe can play. I don't know what the Suns are doing, but that was a great trade for Milwaukee. Rich Paul, back at it again.
I hear you. How about you, Flo? What you thought about that Eric Bledsoe trade? Thank you, Danny D.
LA, I'm going to break this down in winners and losers. Winner, the Milwaukee Bucks. They're getting a good passer, a good defender, and a guard in Eric Bledsoe that can create his own shot. He's going to take pressure off for Greek Freak. Also, John Henson is a big winner in this deal because now he can get some more minutes since Monroe has been traded. It's going to take a lot of pressure off Greek Freaks. So those are winners. In terms of the losers of this deal, Greg Monroe going to a losing situation in Phoenix. The Denver Nuggets, who really needed Eric Bledsoe, and they didn't get the deal done. And the current Phoenix Suns front office, because I think Ryan McDonough's going to get fired.
Okay. I agree with you guys looking at it overall. And that Ryan McDonough, as you spoke about, and I saw in a recent article and video regarding him, he was saying that he was worried about the injuries, I believe, pertaining to Eric Bledsoe in the long term, and also is trying to trade Greg Monroe. Which showed me the thoughts behind this is not great thoughts at all, man. I'm going to break it down a little further. Phoenix, I don't know what they was thinking with this one, man. Because when you look at their team overall, their main weaknesses is point guard, power forward, and center. Because you got your main guy to build around. It's high chance you maybe got another year or two out of him. And you also have Jackson. You also have Booker. That's your small forward and two guard. So you traded Bledsoe and you got Greg Monroe for 1 year at $17.9 million. So looking at this, you're basically doing it for cap relief because the other pieces you got was protected picks. You're not getting much out of that, especially Bucks are going to win more games with Eric Bledsoe on the team now. So looking at overall, where else you going to go but try to go after cap space and try to go after a big-time player next year? If I'm them, the way they're looking at it is that I would get rid of Alex Len as well. He got 1 year left on his deal with $4.2 million. They got basically available cap space right now of $8.9 million, which gives them total, if you don't re-sign Greg Monroe, between $29 million and about $29 million and $32 million maybe or so, give or take. You're going to need about a good $31 million to $34 million to go after a main franchise player and get a maxed out salary. But looking at that, you don't have any players to go after. I'm looking at 2018 upcoming free agents. The only guys you really can go after right now is Aaron Gordon from the Magic, who's a restricted free agent. I think he'd be a perfect spot for them. If you can sign him, throw all the money you can at that guy and hope they don't match, which I believe they are. The only other guy you can go after that is Nurkic from Denver. He's a restricted free agent as well. You maybe try to go after him. And over two other guys who actually could really help that team to me is Isaiah Thomas. That's a big if you haven't seen him play all year, who might help you at point guard position. He's an unrestricted free agent. And the last guy is DeMarcus Cousins. He's the only other unrestricted free agent that could fit into that team in my eyes. Because the thing, you got to make sure you got some pieces around there to make sure that Booker want to sign with this team in the upcoming years or so. Otherwise, he might just leave. So looking at this team, you basically put everything into these one or two players to try to go after. You're not going to get nothing for Greg Monroe right now. He's only averaging 6.8 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist at $17.9 million. Who's going to sign for that? Who's going to trade for that type of player that's going to get him over the top? I don't see it with Greg Monroe being that dude. So I don't get it what Phoenix is doing right now. You basically backed yourself in the corner, and you didn't get another big-time piece out of it because you got a protected first-round pick. You should have got a pick that wasn't protected at the very least in this deal, since you were only doing cap space relief. And once again, looking at it, Phoenix is not a team that everybody want to go after. So I don't understand it from that perspective. You're not that team right now. Unless you know you go get Cousins or you know you could get Gordon. I don't know about that. What you guys think about that? I'm asking you, Danny D.
Nah, they're in trouble because the thing is, based on the cap space and things like that and who's available, they might have to tank for. Remember, they tanked last year and it didn't work. It didn't work out. Well, they got Josh Jack, but he's still a rookie and things like that. They might have to tank this year, which they're going to tank this year again, and they might have to tank again next year. It might have to be another 3 or 4 seasons. I don't know when the bleeding's going to stop. Like Flo said, and like you guys said, I don't know what they're doing out there. It's going to be a hard sell because if I'm a superstar and I'm a pertaining rising superstar, I'm not going to go to Phoenix because my main thing, like we said, ladies and gentlemen, besides the money, I want to win. And Phoenix is in the West Coast, and it makes no sense to me to go get my money out there and keep on losing when I can go to a winning franchise and actually have potential to win a ring and get the money. I'll get 2. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone as opposed to going to a losing situation and get the money. I got money. I'm trying to get the money and win. I want to be greedy.
Exactly. And then the thing is, you only got certain spots like I brought up that you actually need help in. What do you think about it, Flo?
Yeah, but like you guys mentioned, if I'm a potential NBA free agent on July 1st, why do I want to play in Phoenix? It's a waste of my time. There's nothing there for me to play with. Devin Booker, that's great. Josh Jackson, okay. But again, there's nothing there. The front office, led by Ryan McDonough, has done a horrible job since he's been a GM. He drafted Marquise Chris. He's a bust. You know, you got the kid Bender. He's a bust. There's nothing there. Why would I want to play in Phoenix? It just doesn't make any sense. I think if I'm a potential free agent, I'd rather go play in the East Coast. I don't have to deal with Golden State or the Sacramento or the San Antonio Spurs or the Houston Rockets. I'd rather go play in the East Coast where the Eastern Conference is wide open this year.
That's true. That's another thing to think about as well. The competition and just the ability to get in the playoffs. The big thing, like you said, Danny D, I agree with you in that respect too. They got to lose as many games as they can, hope to lose this year too. And hopefully they get that top 2 or 3 pick. Then maybe that will help them entice one of the players like I named, like a Gordon or a Cousins. But I definitely don't see like them rushing to go play with these players who've been unproven. And Jackson right now has been struggling just off the court type stuff. And attitude-wise, I don't see, if I'm Aaron Gordon, why would I want to play with them instead of Orlando and re-signing where I'm at? They actually look like a better fit right now. Cousins, that's your wild card. He could go either way. I don't know. And then, do you really want to build around DeMarcus Cousins? I don't know. Me personally, I don't want him to be my number one main guy on my team because he just haven't proved he could win. And like you said, attitude with him and Jackson, that's a lot to ask for in one spot. You know,
those 2 together. Oh gosh.
So that's what I'm saying. If you listen out, they could think of another play they can get that can fit that money or fit that spot that they need. Please let us know. You know, put us on the comment section. But that's it for that topic, guys. And regarding the next topic, basically I want to talk about Los Angeles Lakers rookie Lonzo Ball, who became the youngest player to post a triple-double with the following stat line against the Milwaukee Bucks: 19 points, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds in the Lakers' recent 98-90 loss. What are your thoughts regarding Lonzo's strong performance amidst the current controversy surrounding his play of late as well, on top of the off-court troubles regarding his brother LiAngelo, as well as their family illness as well that's going on? And basically, LeVar Ball also is in the mix. What you think about that and his performance, Flo?
LA, excellent job. Excellent job by Lonzo Ball. What he needs to do is just focus on basketball. Let all the family issues that's going on behind the scenes, let his father deal with that. He needs to just focus on basketball, stop reading the newspapers, stop watching TV, get in the gym early and practice, work on your jump shot, talk to the coaching staff, pick Magic Johnson's brain, because Magic Johnson is a Hall of Fame point guard, and just focus on basketball. Let everything else go, and he should be fine.
Okay, I hear you, Flo. Thank you, Dan. How about you, Danny D? What you think about Lonzo Ball recent performance?
That was a good performance, but I'm still mad. They didn't get the W. So he could have a quadruple, triple, double. He did it with a loss. So the main thing is you got to be the point guard and you got to win. So you can, even if he plays horrible, because he's shooting like 29%, he's shooting horrible. But if he can lead the team and try to get some W, because it's like we said before, it was added pressures from his father from the get-go, saying that he's the next big thing, the next Showtime and things like that. Can't be the next Showtime because people are going to value on wins. And the off-the-court stuff is making you look even worse because you're bringing more attention to yourself and your family. It's more attention bringing that you don't need because you can't focus on being a great player and trying to lead the team. It's a lot of pressure. You're putting a lot of pressure on himself. So hopefully he could just try to come out, try to do what he got to do, triple-double, no triple-double, but try to get the W and try to shut the critics down, which is going to be hard because you're always going to have haters and critics. But to continue to try to do what you got to do and progress to be a better player and try to get some Ws.
Exactly, guys. And it's 20 years, 15 days is when he broke this record. And it's only 13 games, I believe, within the season, his first year in the league. So it's like the same thing when we say about Frank, with the Knicks. Just take your time, man. Let these guys play. Everything want to be rushed. Everything want to be look it up now compared to the guys of old, compared to the guys now. It's like these guys didn't even play a full year yet. Let's see what happened 2 or 3 years down the road. But he showed me a lot in that game because a lot of people was coming at him from a lot of different ways, a lot of different areas, from TV, there's the interviews, everything off the court. And, even the last game played before that, you could see in his face like it really was hurting him against the Celtics that game. And even Kyrie had to go and talk to him a little bit, told him just, basically just focus on his game, be yourself type of thing. So to come back and put up those numbers showed me a lot in that regards. And it's just going to take time. It's going to take time. The guy, he got to let his time go, get used to the jump shot, which is, it's an ugly looking jump shot. But as long as it go in, that's the main thing. And the big thing, he was aggressive more. He was driving to the basket. He was actually making layups. He was shooting the ball. He wasn't playing passive in that regard. So just give it some time out there. Let's see what happens as it goes along. The other all-court stuff is going to take care of itself as time goes. So that's like you said, Andy. Just worry about the game. The same thing you said here, Flo. But that's it regarding that segment. And then our next segment up is Off the Cuff. And regarding our second segment, Off the Cuff, that's where we talk about our main topic we like to discuss, and we find something interesting pertaining to the NBA, and we like to present for overall discussion, I should say, and or debate. So first up, Flo, you got anything for Off the Cuff today?
LA, yes, I do. According to Bill DeFlippo of uprocks.com, the Cleveland Cavaliers are interested in newly acquired center for the Phoenix Suns, Greg Monroe. Guys, what's your take on this?
Did they say who for?
No.
What you think about Danny D?
They don't even have enough money to get him. They're like they don't even have enough money to get him. He'll be a good fit, I get, but then with him and Kevin Love, is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to start? What they need to be interested is getting a point guard. That's what they need to be interested in getting. A point guard, a legit point guard to run the show, because they are horrible right now. But Greg Monroe, for the front court, I don't like it. I really don't like it. I think they need to look for another a point guard and somebody that could be a shooting guard, things like that could be consistent. Because they have a front court with Jeff Green, Jay Crowder. They have enough upfront players already. But I could see them trying to do it, but I wouldn't be interested if I was Cleveland. There's no need to.
I totally agree. I think you're throwing bad money after bad money with that one. What they need to do is get that sarcophagus Monroe used to get back in the day and get Isaiah Thomas in that joint, get him healed up. That's what they need more than anything else right now. That's the way I look at it. And Greg Monroe is not a defensive stalwart, and that's what they need. They need some defense. They need some scoring beside LeBron and Kevin Love, and just some outside shooting as well. So to me, I don't see why you get Greg Monroe thinking about it overall. I don't really see what you're going to do for this team to put you to that next level. What you think about it, Flo?
Mm-hmm. Like both of you guys mentioned, first, they don't have the money to make this deal unless Monroe would have to agree to a buyout. So I don't see them going after him. That's one. Two, they need defense. Monroe's an offensive-minded ball player. Doesn't play defense at all, even though he's 6'11", 265 pounds. So I think it's a bad fit for Cleveland if they go after him.
We all in accordance with that one. All right. Thank you, dear Flo. How about you, Danny D? You got anything for off the cuff?
Off the cuff, I got two things, guys, real quick. The first thing I got, right, is that according to Athletics' Marcus Thomas, who wrote the Miller's Rise of Stephen Curry, you know, Stephen Curry signed a Supermax deal worth $200 million, right, over the summertime. But it's two things that he wanted in that deal that the Warriors said no. First, Curry wanted a no-trade clause, and he wanted his last year of the deal to be a player option. And they said, the Warriors said, ain't happening, player. Ain't going down like that. What do you guys feel about that?
I wouldn't think they would try to trade him anyway. He's the face of the franchise.
That's up.
So I have no problem doing that right now as long as he's healthy. But I just don't like NBA no trade clause after the Melo situation. I don't like doing that no more, man. Because you never know what happened injury-wise or production fall off and you just stuck. So that's the main reason why I wouldn't do it. But they invested so much in him, I can see why they may. But I just wouldn't. How about you, Flo?
I don't have a problem with him requesting a play option. But LA, I definitely agree with you. This no trade clause, nah. We need to put an end to these no trade clauses because all it does, it benefits the player, not the team.
Exactly. Handcuffs you, man. How about you? What you think about Danny D?
It depends because he's the face of the franchise. Because if you think about it, before that max deal, they got him for cheap. You know, oh my goodness. Remember, he had one of the least worst contracts before. It was him and Isaiah Thomas. He wasn't getting paid a lot at that time, and he sacrificed it and he stuck with it and he stayed with the franchise. So I thought, but then again, remember his ownership and things like this. We're not friends. We're not family. This is business. So I could understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, definitely. I understand where you're coming from with that too. And what you have for the second topic?
Oh, a second topic is our fan favorite, guys, Nerlens Noel from where? Dallas. Hey, Nerlens, how you doing, Noel? Who did not get to play at all. He got a did not play. You remember, you guys? Dallas offered him a $70 million contract over 4 years. And what did he say, guys? He said, no, I'm banking on myself. I want more money. Well, basically, Rick Carlisle told him, listen, you're not playing well, and you're sitting on the bench. And basically, Nerlens Noel is getting outplayed by Salah Marara. I don't even know who that guy is. Is getting more playing time than Noel. And how do you guys feel about that?
He just rolled snake eyes, brother. He in trouble, man. And he got to get his money this year. That's the thing. He's going to take another cheap deal right now. That's what it's looking like. Nah, he didn't bet well on himself at all right now, the way it's looking. And we said that before. He said right now you would have took the money at that point because they really hadn't done anything yet, What'd you think about it, Flo?
Yeah, LA, I think we all discussed this on our first podcast, Knicks Fandom. We discussed this in detail, especially last season. I mean, it's a great disservice for Nerlens Noel. He should have been working on his game all season. They offered him 4 years, $70 million, like Dee mentioned. He turned it down. He bet it on himself, and it backfired big time. What he should have been doing is working on his basketball game in the gym, working out, get himself a personal trainer, get himself a chef to work on correcting any eating habits. And he's got to mature as a person. This kid is very, very mature. I mean, the stories I've heard when he was playing for Philadelphia, in terms of an incident where he rented a home from someone and he destroyed the house, with him throwing a party.
That's something to hear. I didn't hear about that one. Okay, go ahead, Flo.
Yeah, overall, yeah. He hasn't been playing well. He deserves to be on the bench. So Rick Carlisle did the right thing. Shame on Noel. Shame on Noel.
Totally agree. Anything else you want to add there, Danny D?
No, Rick Carlisle's laying down the law, man. He said, look, quote unquote, man, look, minutes have to be earned. Wow. At this point, it's between him and Salah has earned the minutes. There's no doghouse here. It isn't. It's pretty simple. You compete and you earn your minutes. You get minutes. And you compete to keep them because it's a competitive sport and a competitive situation. That's how it is.
Well, they might have to move him as well, though. I can see that happening. And also another guy, I think, guys, who I just want to talk about real briefly, who may be moved in the future, is Julius Randle of the Los Angeles Lakers. And basically the emergence of Lance, you know, these guys are basically taking his spot and his minutes as well. And he already has after the end of the season, be a restricted free agent. And with Los Angeles, if they offer him a qualifying offer, that would make a cap hit from $4.1 million to $12.4 million. So that's a lot of cap space to give a guy who's basically third on the depth chart at this point. So just asking y'all guys, do you think they will move Randle? And if they do you have any team in mind that might want to pick him up? Or what do you think about it overall? Would you keep him, or what do you think about it? Starting with you, Flo.
Well, if you're the Lakers, I think right now you should try to move him. Reach out to the Brooklyn Nets once again, see if you can make a deal. I think the Nets could use another power forward. You know, I like Trevor Booker, but they can use another power forward. So definitely they should go after him. That's one team, Brooklyn Nets. Other teams, maybe teams in losing situations that need to develop players like the Atlanta Hawks. That might be another team I'm looking at.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there. I could definitely see something like that too. A team that'd be willing to take on that salary, and like you said, need some young players to grow. What you think about Danny D?
Yeah, they're trying, because I said him, and they also said Luol Deng. They said they're trying to get rid of all these guys, so they really want to make the cast. And Julius Randle, he lost a lot of weight, changed his diet. He's been working in the gym. He's working out, but that's how it is. That's how it is. He's not going to stay for long term. They just got to find a good fit for him, because he's a young guy. It's depending on what team he can fit. He could be a stretch. He can be like Orlando. Orlando could be a good fit for him, or Toronto too, depending on what the qualifier offer and what they want to give him.
Yeah, I can see that as well too. And the thing about Luol Deng, he just signed a 4-year deal, like $72 million. So he getting a ton of money for a guy who's not very producing, as a much older player right now, the way he's playing physically wise. So I definitely see Randle could be moved, like you said, but I wouldn't just give him away. If I could, I think if I was them, I'd probably try to get a draft pick if I could, maybe a first rounder, mid-level, like first round pick or something of that nature. Because they just still need more pieces. Looking at the Lakers, they got a lot of young players, but they could use some more experience. So maybe you could get a draft pick, try to trade for established player. And as for the team, basically y'all covered all the teams I could think about right off the top of my head. Can't really think of another team right now, but if we do, we can always go back to this topic down the road, fellas. But much appreciated regarding off the cuff. And our next topic coming up, fellas, is hot topics. And for our NBA hot topic for today is basically where we have a question and or a topic we want to talk about and put up for a little debate for our listeners and go in a little more in depth. For today's hot topic is, we ask the question, what is the best basketball movie or documentary that you enjoy and would recommend for our listeners that feature a former or present NBA player or several NBA players in your opinion, and or why? Starting with you, Danny D.
I was going to go with the Lenny Cook story, but it didn't have a real good ending. So it's a good learning experience for the young basketball players. Go look at Lenny Cook. But my movie, I'm going with Through the Fire, which features Stephon Marbury's cousin, Sebastian Telfair. It basically was a documentary showing his rise through Lincoln High School, and also his decision to almost go into Louisville, shout out to Rick Pitino, and not going and skipping going to Louisville, and also jumping and going to the draft and getting drafted by the Blazers. It's a great documentary. It shows a lot about family and the hard work Sebastian has to put in, and also the politics of basketball and the willing and dealing, and how much work you really have to do, and the networking you have to do to try to make it to the NBA, and also pretty much have to be in good to actually make it to the league.
Definitely. That's one of my favorite documentary. I had a feeling you were going to pick that one too. There's a lot going on with Sebastian off the court still now with the gun charges too. So that story is to be continued, and hopefully that can turn around. Go ahead.
Him and his brother. I said him and his brother. Yeah, both get charged with gun charges, allegedly and stuff like that. I don't want to go, but they both got in trouble with gun charges. Him and his younger brother.
And that's the crazy part, because he actually made it. It's not like he was like Lenny Cook, like you spoke about, who didn't made the NBA for such a short, brief time. He actually made it, got a couple of contracts. So that's like, you should have been out of there and been like a positive story for guys to look up to, And it's like to get in trouble now after you already made it money-wise and like financial-wise, actually be able to name an NBA. It's just a sad thing to see in that regards.
But right now he's playing in the CBA. I think he's playing for What team is Sebastian playing for? Oh, the Fuhong Sturgeons out in the Chinese Basketball Association. So he's still playing.
Okay.
A great movie.
All right, and Lenny Cook is definitely a must see, especially the end. I like when they show him talking to the older self, and he's like trying to tell him to stop and avoid some of the pitfalls. So if y'all haven't seen that, make sure to check that one out too. Very good story in that regards. How about you, Flo? You want to add anything to those two documentaries or anything on your own?
No, those documentaries, they're very great documentaries. If you're a big basketball fan, I definitely recommend the listeners here to check out both of those documentaries. Excellent job. In regards for myself, my pick, I went with Blue Chips, starting Nick Nolte, Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal. The reason why I went with Blue Chips, guys, because based on what's going on in college basketball, I think everybody can relate to this movie. It's a great movie overall. Right now, college basketball is starting to fall apart, especially with the politics. So Blue Chips is perfect. If you guys really want to learn about the politics, college basketball, please check out Blue Chips.
We owe it to him. That's the movie. We always still talk about that one, fellas. I definitely like Blue Chips. That's one of mine as well. And not so much for the great actor Neon Bordeaux, aka Shaquille O'Neal, but for Coach Pete Bell, who's played by Nick Nolte, and he did a really good job with that. And you just seeing he just had such passion for the game, and you could see the guys becoming older, and it's like the game kind of passing them by a little bit when it comes to the college and the high school level, because the game is changing. It's like losing the purity of the game. And I don't want to give away if nobody's seen it, but you should have seen it by now. That movie came out back in like 1994, I believe. So it's just a really good thing that's going on. It's very, very connected to what's happening today, like you stated, Flo, regarding the NCAA scandal. You're seeing that back then. You're seeing the same repercussions to this very day. Anything else to add to that, Danny D?
Listen, great movie. So I like the acting out there, you know what I'm saying? My man Shaq said he didn't ask for no car. And listen, you tell Tony stop looking at that shot clock, man.
Yeah, that's a classic scene right there. Make sure to check that out, listeners. Basically been paying these players and the coach didn't know about it. And they had to basically look at the shot clock and see he basically was throwing the game. Not so much trying to lose, but trying to make sure the point spread would match. So, and doing that, and there was a lot of things behind the scenes with that, but definitely a very good scene, and it stands up well even today. But thank you, dear fellas. For me, I picked it was Bird and Magic, courtship of rivals back in 2010, and basically it was an explanation regarding the fierce rivalry between NBA superstar Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and it was a very good documentary I seen during that time, and you could just see how the impact would affect the NBA going into the future as well. And during the rivalry, it was just something to see that these two players had so much pressure on them. Because it was a different time back then. You didn't have like so many channels now. It was like everybody really was watching both of these players, and you basically had one whole state going against another, basically one whole side of the country going against another side of the country almost during that time. And just seeing these two guys being caught up in that and trying to just stay focused on the court, and just seeing that rivalry go throughout their whole careers and seeing the type of players they became. So that showed me a lot of just inside and behind the scenes type of things, and seeing what type of players they were and the pressure that goes along with it. I don't know if you guys saw that. Did y'all see that one?
I saw that one. It was good.
Yeah, I thought
very
it was
in depth. Very in depth things like that, how it works out. It's behind the scenes. It's all right, man. It's good though. Good, man.
Exactly.
Make me reminiscent, man. Maybe wishing we out to kept that jump shot, man.
Very true, very true. And just an honorable mention, I know I said it had to pertain to NBA, but if it wasn't for NBA, my number one would have been Hoop Dreams.
Oh, man.
I think we should do a whole show on that one, man. But I love that documentary. It was just sad how a lot of things happened afterwards, but that affected them. That basically a documentary between some upcoming players on Arthur Agee and William Gates, and basically showed them trying to make the jump during their high school careers and trying to become, all American players. You want to go in a little more detail with that, Danny D?
Oh yeah, and it also shows the difference between how you have in high school, how you have different conferences, how you basically have the Catholic League and the public school league, and the difference between how grades and things and different things. Once again, how politics plays a major role. How William Gates can move up so quickly, and how Arthur Agee wasn't as inept as William Gates, and all of a sudden his grades and things didn't work out. He didn't have enough money to come to the school, even though that Catholic school was supposed to be paid for. Very interesting.
That was a classic scene right there too.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add to that, Flo?
No, that is definitely a great movie, Hoop Dreams. Great documentary. I loved it. I recommend all basketball fans to really check that documentary out. The ending wasn't great, which is sad, but it's a great documentary.
Definitely. So make sure to check that out, listeners, if you haven't done already. And I won't go into more detail about it because I want to make sure the listeners saw it. But if they didn't, they also received, which I didn't know at the time, $200,000 in royalties from the film. Wow. Although William Gates did fall on hard times, Arthur Agee was able to buy a house, I read online. And they also tragically both had some real close deaths in the family because they had another Hoop Dreams, like kind of a follow-up to that, like a part 2 to it. And they went into more detail about some of the deaths that kind of happened regarding the family. And basically, Arthur Agee's father was murdered in 2004, Boy G, as also William Gates' older brother who appeared in the first film, Curtis, was also shot to death, which I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, wow.
He was shot to death and 36 years old in the Chicago Lawn neighborhood, it was reported as well.
Oh,
so a lot of dreams, a lot of shattered dreams on something. William Gates would have something to do with Michael Jordan a little few years afterwards in some coaching level. They was trying to do something in that regards. Same thing about the AG. I think he finished school as well, too. So, but it's a lot to be learned from there. A lot of ups and downs, not even regarding NBA, but just life and basketball, those things intercede with one another. But very good documentary. Make sure to check it out. And that was our hot topic for the day. And that brings us right into our closing remarks for today's show. You got any closing remarks for today's show, Flo?
Yeah, LA, I want to thank you indeed for allowing me part of this great show, NBA Fandom. Also want to thank the listeners. Please tell a friend, subscribe, leave a positive review. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Flo. Much appreciated as well. How about you, Dan D? You got any closing remarks?
I want to thank you guys once again for the show. Appreciate it. Fans, keep on subscribing and keep on telling people and just spreading love. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Much appreciated there, Dan D. Great assessments as always, guys. Appreciate your contributions. Couldn't do without y'all. Also, a big thank you to our listeners. This is a brand new show, so keep supporting, keep subscribing, keep letting people know. We're going to have a lot of different topics, a lot of different things we're going to talk about as we go along. Make sure to have a good one, people. See ya.